And today we are talking about the 9 signs that you are ready for a lifestyle change. And this is my first time using butter for the recording medium. So let's see how this goes. It'll be a surprise for both of us. So here we go. So the first things to remember, or first signs that you're really ready for some kind of lifestyle change, is that when you look at your agenda, it is full of to-dos and tasks for other people. And a lot of the to-dos and tasks on there are really meaningless. Running the errands, picking up groceries, taking the kids here, there, and everywhere, um, doing things for your bosses, for your families, like other people, but it's not your stuff. It's not stuff that's really meaningful. It's not stuff that, at the end of the day, you're going to like, wow, I lived a good day. You might just say, wow, I checked all the boxes, but it wasn't really a meaningful day. So if you're looking at your agenda and it's just full of appointments and to-dos for other people, and just not very exciting, that's a very good sign that something needs to change and you're ready to be a little bit more intentional about your life. The next one is that you feel trapped. And this was me for a very long time. So it's a sign that you're not working on your personal goals and your agenda. So if you feel like you're trapped in a job, you're trapped in a relationship, you're trapped in a particular house that you don't love, all these feelings of being trapped kind of are very good indicators of you not taking control of your life, you not being intentional about your designing it. You're really conforming and catering to other people and to societies, the dictates of society. I felt this so much. I just felt like I was doing the right things. I had the good job, the good marriage, the car. I had all that stuff, but I just felt trapped. I felt like I couldn't get out of my job no matter what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't change my life. It was an awful feeling. And another sign is kind of went all hand in hand with that for me was that guilt that I should feel happy. Like I have all these trappings of a great life and I should be happy and I'm not. And what is that? If I had the great house and the great job and the car and like all these things, a good relationship, my kids are healthy, like I have all this stuff. And why wasn't I happy? And for me, it was definitely because I pursued society's goals. I did what they said I was supposed to do for a good life, right? Went to college, got a degree, got out, got a great job, met a great man, bought our first house, had our kids. I checked all those boxes and I was miserable. I felt trapped in a job I hated. And got to the point where I didn't even enjoy my relationship anymore. And I wasn't a great mom. I wasn't present. I was very negative. But throughout, I kept stepping back and saying, but I'm so blessed. I have such a great job and a great husband and all these things. And I felt miserable. So that is a very, very good sign that, if you have the things that are supposed to make you happy, that you went after other goals. You went after the goals you were supposed to go after, and they weren't really your goals. They weren't your heart goals. So you kind of went the wrong direction. And that's a great sign that it's time for some lifestyle design. Another sign is the fine. When somebody asks you how you are, how are you? Oh, fine. If fine is your answer to everything, well, how was your day? Fine. How you feeling? Fine. Like if that's your go-to answer, fine means dead. It just means you are drained of all life, all vitality. Kind of like that, the Dorothy Yellow Brick Road, going from color, only you're going backwards into black and white. Like your life is just drained, it's colorless, and so you can't generate any enthusiasm for the day. And again, these come from that feeling of being trapped and the feeling of the happy guilt that leads to you're fine. So this might stand out more in your mind and the others didn't, but now if you look backwards and you start to say, well, I do say that, I do think that all the time, I'm just fine, there's no pizzazz. Well, why isn't there any pizzazz? Maybe because you went after other people's goals, maybe because you filled your planner with other people's tasks and nothing had a real meaning to it. But these things, they all kind of start to snowball, but one sign might show up a little bit more than another. So you're fine, if that's your answer to everything, it's time for some lifestyle design. The next one is a little bit not obvious, I guess, because it's hiding in silence, is just that. If you were to ask your friends or your coworkers, do you know what I'm passionate about? And I don't mean like a sports team or or you're really passionate about knitting. Like, do they know what you're really passionate about? Like, what lights up your soul? What are your dreams for? What do you stand for? And like, does anybody really know the real you? What really makes you tick? Or are you keeping everybody on that surface level? So they know maybe that you like particular type of cuisine. Maybe you love Mexican. But that's not really what makes you tick, right? So do people know those things, those really meaningful things? Do they know what lights you up? What do you want to contribute to the world? Do they have a sense of that? And if they don't, it's really that sign that you've silenced your voice. And again, that dormant, dead, drained feeling, that fine energy is coming through, that you're just silent. You stopped speaking and you're kind of accepting the society roles that you were given, and you're not breaking out and you're not being authentic. You're not showing the crazy you that's inside that really wants to get out. You're just kind of fine. Who wants that? That is definitely a sign that you need to do some lifestyle design here. The lack of focus. Again, that was another big one for me. If your attention is being stolen by everything, meaningless TV, your devices, your social media, things that make you look busy, like, oh, you're constantly cleaning this, or you're running the errands and you're checking off all those boxes, again, doing a lot of people's other work, and it makes you feel busy, but there's no real focus. You're not going after anything. And the real thing that you're doing here is you're distracting yourself and you're going numb. And that was one thing my son said to me once. He's like, Ma, you don't have any emotions, you're just numb. And I was like, that is so true. I come home and it would be like the glass of wine and sit in front of the TV because I was just trying to numb myself because I was so miserable. And if that's one of your tactics, if you're just scrolling social media or watching Netflix around the clock or whatever, just to numb out, that is a good signal that you're not living your life. That there's so much for you, and you're just kind of distracting yourself, letting yourself disappear and not feel all that pain and that despair that's really underneath. So you're just going for that numb thing. So if you are, have compassion for yourself, because I certainly know what that was like. I did that. I started my countdown counter for retirement at 12 years. 12 years before I retired, I was counting the days. So I know what it's like to want to just numb out and not feel anything because it's just too painful to see that your life is not going where you want it to go. This is another one I see a lot of people doing, tracking the minutia. So you're tracking your steps and your water and you're feeling like, hey, I'm making progress because society told me I should track my steps and I should get my 10,000 steps a day. And I do sometimes track steps and I do sometimes track other things, but that's not life. You're not tracking the things that really are moving the needle on a good life. You're tracking a few things that maybe could be related to a health goal, but really they're not, because you're not dealing with your mental health and you're not actually exercising. You're not actually eating better, but they're not goal oriented. Like someone just told you to track your steps and you said, okay, great. And my phone makes it easy or my watch makes it easy. And so I track it. Do you have a picture? Like, do you have a goal? Do you have something you're going after? Are you really tracking things that are going to move the needle? So how in alignment was your day with your values? How aligned were you in a meeting with what your core values were? Did you even think about that? Steps has nothing to do with your core values. Are you moving towards your dreams, your desires, your things that you're passionate about, the legacy you want to leave? Are you doing anything during the day to work towards that? Are you being very conscious and present in your relationships? Or are you, again, going back to that numb out state of don't talk to me, let me drink my wine and watch my TV? Are you contributing? Are you like tracking how caring you were, or how many times you left a compliment today, or how much kindness you showed? Like those are things that when you're tracking that, now you're tracking something important. But if you're tracking steps, water, even pages read in a book, were you reading that book for a purpose, or were you just trying to get through the 52 books a year challenge because you thought that was a cool challenge? But it has nothing to do with moving your life forward, moving that needle of happiness and joy. Those are just meaningless things. You're tracking the minutia. And this next one kind of layers right on top of that. And that's kind of like documenting the minutia, documenting the meaningless. Like, so if you're taking pics of your breakfast and you're liking memes and you're finding cat memes and you're sharing gifts and you're liking other people's stuff, are you spending a whole lot of time on stuff that has absolutely no meaning? Like, does the picture of your breakfast on the plate have any meaning whatsoever for the quality of your life? Again, you're going back to that distraction level. You're being very superficial and you're not documenting you. You're not documenting your values. You're like, how aware are you of all that negative chatter in your head? How aware are you of your presence when you're in a conversation? Are you there? Are you really there? Or are you just kind of thinking about the next thing on your to-do list, the next busy thing on somebody else's to-do list that wound up on your to-do list? Are you even being aware of all the things you're attracting? So if you're having a negative day, what are you doing to cause that negative day? Well, you're looking for it. You're looking for the negatives. You're expecting the negatives, but are you paying attention to that? Is this what your life is about? So when you're spending your time kind of on the minutia, so you're tracking the minutia and then you're documenting the minutia. You're just spending all your time on the superficial level. You're not living. You're like a nice little AI bot, right? You're just going through the motions, but there's no surface level. I mean, there's no depth to your level. You're staying on the surface, and that, oh my gosh, my heart goes out to you because I've been there. I've been there. And I want you to know that there is definitely a better way. Let's get out of this. And here's another great sign is that you're playing catch up all the time. You know, you look at that planner and you're like, oh, I have so much to do. I have so much to do. And you got to get it all done. And you're never, ever, ever going to get it all done. And that's not a bad thing. That's life. I mean, if you're alive, there's always going to be something to do. But if your goal is just to catch up and to get all those to-dos done, that is not a life. You're just kind of spinning on that treadmill. You can't win in the race to get it all done. It's just not going to work. You know, and again, what are you getting done? You're getting done stuff for other people, and your needs are on the back burner. Your needs are not being focused and getting the airtime and the space. So here you are thinking, you know, I'm doing some me time because I'm spending my 20 minutes on social media and that's for me. No, it's not. I mean, looking at what other people are doing and comparing yourself to them, that is not living your life. That is, again, just numbing out and trying not to feel the discomfort, the pain, the whatever it is that's going on in your life. All these things, these signs that we just went through, they're all just signs that you are living somebody else's plan. And you probably don't even know what your plan is, but you know this isn't it. Like if you at the end of the day go, I know there's gonna be more to life and this isn't it, that's a sign. You know, I feel like was it Jeff Foxworthy or something? This is your sign. This is your sign that you need to start to level up your life and start to play by your own set of rules and take back your time. Yes, you do have to do your job, but there's so much about how you do that job. So yes, you have to work on that project. Yes, you have to work with that team. Yes, you have to get these things done. But you can do it from you. You can do it from your values, your perspectives. You can make sure that you're being in alignment with who you want to be as you do those tasks. And you can also start to say no. And the beauty of things is when you don't answer emails on time, like on time, on somebody else's time, people tend to find the answers. And by the time you get to that email, they're like, oh, yeah, I already dealt with that. Or by the time you return that phone call, oh, I already figured that out. Or I took care of the errand or whatever. It's like, you can take back your time by being a little less responsive to everybody else. So the way to get out of all of this is to really be intentional about your agenda. What do you want to get done today? And what are you going to track that's really moving the needle? What are those things that are how aligned you are, how present you are, how joyful you are? Those are the things we want to track. And where do you spend your time, your energy, your focus? Like, who do you give that to? What do you give that to? That's all part of intentional living. It's not giving your attention to Facebook unless you are part of a Facebook group where you are the manager of the group. You don't need to give your attention to those people and get into those petty dramas and all that stuff that it's like you need to take a shower after you've gone through some of these Facebook groups. And you are the only person who can make these changes. It is completely up to you. You can't expect me to make the changes. You can't have your mom, your son, your brother. Nobody can make these changes but you. And you have to do that by changing your focus and where you put your energy and your time. And that's really the secret to living an intentional life. So if you haven't heard the term lifestyle design, it's all about deliberately crafting your life to align with the goals, the values, the interests, the passions, the real passions that you have inside. And it's breaking free of what society has told you is the right thing to do, or the check boxes that you have to check. It's not, let society go. Like, they did their thing. You got here. Great. Let's move on. And you want to really focus on how you spend your time, your money, your energy, do it with intention. Don't do it with somebody else's plan in mind. Do it with you. And so lifestyle design is this ongoing process of getting intentional. And you don't get it right the first time. You have to keep refining it. You have to keep going through it and you get better and better. But you love the journey because you are on a journey to build you. You're not on anybody else's agenda, you're on your agenda. So again, it doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur, which is great. I am now, but I wasn't for a very long time. You don't have to be, you can be in somebody else's business, but still be you and do things your way with your personality, your values in place. And when things are so out of alignment that they can't come back into alignment, you have the choice to make changes and to move on and do something different. So I do want to present you with Plan Jam, which is what I came up with as a way of doing seasonal planning that gets you into alignment, but not so much in a theory way. I'm not a big theory person. I'm in like, let's get in there. Let's get our fingers dirty and let's get in and actually do stuff. So I created a seasonal retreat that really tunes into what's going on in each season. What do you need for your energy? What do you need for your focus? How can you shape your intentions? Again, you're doing it all. I'm just giving you frameworks, but it's pulling that thing, that whatever you're going to be doing, whatever's going to be on your agenda, whatever's in your planner, and putting it on you in this season. So if you want to get unstuck and you want to get aligned, then we need to know what your values are. We need to get you unstuck and we need to go from being comfortable to being alive. And that's a big thing. Comfortable means you have the trappings of a good life, but you're not happy. You don't really have any real reason to change because your job's okay, your relationships are okay, everything's like fine, but you want to be alive. Well, that's different. That is what lifestyle design is all about. And in Plan Jam, that is what we go for. So if you're interested and you're intrigued, you can learn a little bit more. I put the links down below. There's 5 seasonal retreats. We do fall, the holidays, the new year and winter together, and then spring and summer. So depending on what season you watch this in, there'll either be a retreat that's about to come up or a retreat that we're kind of on a wait list mode for. So check it out below. I hope that you take the time. I want for you so badly to get to a life that is in your control and is in alignment with you and that you come alive. And I hope you can see my energy. I am alive. I'm happy. And that was not my story when I had a 12-year retirement countdown going. So check the link below. And I hope so much that I see you in a future video. Take care.